Hello students, welcome to online classes of Geography of class 10. This is my fourth class of chapter number 5, Minerals and Energy Resources. Now today the topic that I am going to discuss, it is related to the distribution and uses of non-ferrous mineral, that is copper and bauxite, and mica, limestone. These are non-metallic minerals. And after all, we are having lots of ill effects of mining. So we will discuss about the hazards of mining, then why there is a need of conservation and what are the ways of conservation of minerals. So let us start with the first topic. Now let us proceed with the first. What is non-ferrous mineral? Now hopefully the non-ferrous minerals are the minerals which does not have content of iron. So devoid of iron content is the non-ferrous mineral. Now the non-ferrous minerals are not having a good deposition in our country. That means their reserves are not satisfactory. Now the non-ferrous minerals which are basically found in our country, copper, bauxite, lead, zinc, gold, and there are some others also. And the importance of the non-ferrous minerals are that they are giving a base or a role to the industries which are related to metallurgy, engineering and electrical industry. So you can see the pictures. The number 1, this is bauxite ore. Number 2, this is copper ore, and number 3, this is the ore of gold. So these are some of the ores that is there from which we are extracting out the metals or the minerals. Now let us proceed to the next part, that is distribution and uses of copper. Now copper is mainly used in electrical cables, electronic and chemical industry. Now what is the reason why it is so very prominent for the electrical cables and electronic? Because copper is a good conductor of electricity, it is a good conductor of electricity, and what else? It is having a property of malleability and ductility, and thus wise it is very much important for electrical and electronic industry. The malleability and ductility properties makes the importance of copper in the electrical and electronic industry. But there is the reserves of copper in India is not having a good status. It does not have a good reserves of copper. Now we are having 3 main copper producing areas in our country. Number 1 is the Khetri mines of Rajasthan. Number 2, the Balaghat mines in Madhya Pradesh, and number 3, the Singhbhum districts of Jharkhand. Now let us see the pie diagram that indicates the distribution of the copper. The leading producing copper state, number 1 is Rajasthan, that is the Khetri mines. Number 2, the Balaghat mines of Madhya Pradesh, and number 3, the Singhbhum districts of Jharkhand, where we are having 48%, then we are having 29%, and then we are having 16%, and remaining other places constitute 7%. So these are the 3 leading states for the copper producer. Now let us proceed to the next, that is bauxite, distribution of bauxite. Now bauxite is a clay-like substance. Now when we studied about the mode of occurrences, at that time we have studied that due to its clay substance, the eroded part, that is the bauxite, gets eroded, and the mineral or the metal that is present within that, we extract it out, that is aluminium. So what is the occurrence? The occurrence is residual mass of weathered material. So the aluminium that we are getting it from the bauxite ore, it is very much popular or very incredibly popular. Why? Because of its lightweight, because of its strength, because of its durability, because of its ductility and malleability. So these are the important properties of aluminium, and thus wise we are having quite a variety of uses. Now before going to the uses, let us go into the main areas where the copper are found. Now the two main areas are there. There are many other areas, but the main is Amarkantak Plateau, Mekal Hills, and the plateau region of Bilaspur Katni, which is the main bauxite deposit, and in Odisha the Panch Patmali in Koraput district is the another important center. Now just see state-wise distribution of copper. Let us see the state-wise distribution not the copper, of bauxite. Now the leading producer is Odisha with 49%. Then comes the area of Gujarat, which is having about 24%. Then we are having Jharkhand 9%, Chhattisgarh 8%, Maharashtra also 8%, and remaining 2% is there for the other places. So the leading producer is the Panch Patmali of Koraput district of Odisha, then comes the Gujarat area, then Jharkhand, then comes the Mekal part of that is Madhya Pradesh, that is Chhattisgarh. Earlier it was Madhya Pradesh, now it is in Chhattisgarh, and even we are having a deposits of 8% in Maharashtra, and rest 2% is scattered out in the different parts of our country. So this is related to the distribution of the bauxite. Now quickly look into the uses of aluminium. The important uses of the aluminium: number one, it is used in transport, that is 41%. Then comes, it is used in packaging, that is 20%. Next we are having construction, that is 14%. Then comes electrical appliances, that is 8%. 7% is there for the consumer durables. That means we are using various products for that consumer durables, we are having 7%, machinery 7%, and other like we are using utensils for our domestic appliances are there, so that takes 3%. So altogether we are having multiple variety of the use of aluminium. Now there is an interesting fact related to aluminium. Now during the period of Napoleon III, when actually the aluminium was new to the society, that means to the earth, it was discovered. At that time it got its a very important status. When it was discovered, at that time Emperor Napoleon III made his buttons and the hooks of his clothes made of aluminium. That means it was very much that is prestigious, and as it was very much prestigious, so the guests who used to come to the houses, they used to be served with the aluminium utensils. So you can see what was the status of aluminium during that period of Napoleon III. But the total scenario just reversed out. After 30 years, the utensils of aluminium were there in the hands of beggars who were there in the streets of Paris. So how gradually or how drastically the importance of aluminium declined from a prestigious one to the beggars in the Paris street. So this is a very interesting fact about aluminium. Now let us move to the non-metallic minerals. Now among the non-metallic mineral in your syllabus, the very important one that is there is mica. Now mica is basically, it's in a series of thin sheets. Now when it is a series of thin sheets, that means it is sedimentary in structure. Now when it is sedimentary in structure, it's thin sheets, so it is easily splits up into very thin leaves or plates, and we can just make a layer of these thin sheets which having a thickness of very few centimeters. Now mica is having multiple colors. It can be of clear, it means transparent, black, green, red, yellow, brown. It's having multiple colors. And if you have observed that when you are there on the fields, the grounds, on the school playgrounds or on the fields. On the sandy specifically, not the grassy one, the sandy tracks, something, it glitters when there is a bright sunshine. So that glittering part is actually thin sheets of or a series of mica. Now next, mica is having some important properties. Now what is it? It's number one, dielectric strength. Now dielectric strength means when electricity flows from one end to the another end, there is no interruption, there is a continuous flow of electricity, that is dielectric strength, without any barrier, without any that is hazard, or without any interruptions. It flows smoothly, that is dielectric strength. Next, it is having low power loss factor. So it is can be done with when their power is low, at that time also it can be used in that same order. Then it is having some insulating, very much important, that is insulating properties. And lastly, it is resistant to high voltage. When sometimes there is all of a sudden the voltage increases. So because of the presence of mica within that our electrical cables and the wires, the flow does not changes. It keeps on moving in that same order within that same strength. So this is what dielectric strength, and that is why it is very much important for electrical and electronic industry, indispensable for electrical and electronic industry. Now mica is used in electric and electrical industry. Now let us move to the distribution of mica. Now distribution of mica, first of all, very important producer of mica is number one, that is the Chota Nagpur plateau, which constitute the state of Bihar and Jharkhand. Basically we term it as a Jharkhand or a Gaya Hazaribagh belt or Koderma Gaya Hazaribagh belt, where mica reserves are there. Second most important is the Ajmer belt of Rajasthan. This is the Ajmer belt of Rajasthan. And the third most important is the Nellore belt of Andhra Pradesh. So these are the three important belt of mica where the mica reserves are there in our country. Now let us move to the next, that is rock mineral, that is limestone. Now limestone is basically found in the sedimentary rocks, and which is having the geological formations which is having that sedimentary rocks. Now it is basically composed of calcium carbonates or magnesium carbonates. Now let me just discuss about that there are two types of sedimentary rock. One is calcareous sedimentary rocks and another one is carbonaceous sedimentary rocks. Now that is limestone is there in the calcareous type of sedimentary rock. It is present in the calcareous type of sedimentary rock. Now by the name it is clear where there is excessive concentration of calcium. Now how is it so? When the dead remains of animals decay, the skeleton parts get mixed up with the soil and the calcium gets mixed up with the grains of sediments, and then when it is being lithified and compacted, the rock that is formed is termed as limestone. So thus wise the limestone is basically associated with calcium carbonate or magnesium carbonate, which is found in the sedimentary rocks. Now limestone is basically an important raw material for cement industry. That means it's very much important use. Second, it is used in the blast furnace also. When the smelting of iron is there, when we are adding up limestone, the limestone removes the slag from that iron ore. So it is also the most important part of iron and steel industry. Now we will move to the distributors or the producers of the limestone. Karnataka is there, Andhra Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Rajasthan and Gujarat. These are some of the important states where the limestones are there. Now just look into the uses of the limestone, where actually the limestones are used. Limestones are used in the buildings of as well as roads, in buildings and roads. It is also used in mortar, that means making all those brick-like structure. It is used in during a cement, when it is being heated up with the clay at that time when cement is made. Then it is used in the concrete when we are constructing, doing the work of construction. Then comes mica is also there to naturalize, limestone is also there to neutralize acid soils and lakes. And then glass making is also there. When we make the glasses, then obviously when we heat with sand and sodium carbonate. So there are various uses of mica. Now let us move to the state-wise distribution of mica. You can see the leading producer is there for Rajasthan, where mica is maximum, that is Rajasthan, because Rajasthan is a sandy structure, and though it is having a base of peninsula structure, but it has been transformed into a desert, and that is why it is a sandy structure and it is having a high content of mica. Then comes, we are having Madhya Pradesh individually, that is 11%. Then comes Andhra Pradesh, also 11%, and then Chhattisgarh 10%. Then comes Karnataka 10%, Gujarat 8%, Tamil Nadu 8% and Telangana 8%, and remaining which is being scattered out 13% throughout the country. So the leading producer is the Rajasthan, and all these data is based upon 2016-17. So it's a recent data. Now let us see that when we are extracting out so many minerals, whether it is metallic, whether it is non-metallic, under the metallic, whether it is ferrous or non-ferrous, continuously there are some ill effects of mining. So we term it as hazards of mining. Now what are the hazards of mining? It is hazardous for both the workers, or those who are engaged for the mining activities, the one who are residing over there, as well as it is also leading to degrades the environment. Secondly, the miners who are there to work, it is a very tough condition because no natural light is available over there inside the mines. You have seen that they wear the helmets, and where there are torches are there. So no natural light because they are moving inside the crustal part. Then when continuously they extract out the mineral, what is the resultant? The layers of the rocks get loosened out, and there is a risk of collapsing of the mines. And when the mine roofs collapse, due to the friction, there can be fire. That is the one very much hazardous part. Then excessive extraction can increase the level of the water, that can lead to flood, which is termed as inundation with water. Now the areas around the mines also, they form the problems. Why? Because continuously the dust from the mining areas, the smoke from the mining areas that emits out, it is poisonous and it degrades the environmental condition. Then the waste that is being deposited or that is being thrown out nearby the mining areas, it gets just degrades the land and the soil, and the slurry from the mine, it's also create pollution to the water, even to the soil. Even when the water is moving to the cultivable land, it is polluting the agricultural plot. So now not only this, the houses and the clothes becomes dirty. More often than in the other areas. Now, the residents who are residing, obviously the miners, they need the resident nearby the mining area. So, the entire environment is very much dirty. The miners are of great risk of getting afflicted with pulmonary diseases, means the respiratory tract diseases, that is breathing problems. Causes of respiratory tract diseases are very high in the mining areas. The water resource of the mining region gets contaminated, and when there is a surface runoff, it leads to river pollution, and then it degrades the quality of the land and soil due to dumping of the waste. And one more thing, when the water of these areas gets percolated towards the lower layers, even the underground water also gets contaminated. So, you can see there are so many hazards, so many ill effects of mining, but what is it? We cannot stop this, because the entire industrial development leads to economic development, and if we are just stopping or creating the barrier for the mining activity, that means our development will be at stake. So, though it is important, but then too mining industry is hazardous, so it is also termed as killer industry. Now, we will move to the next topic, that why there is a need to conserve the mineral. Now, we all know that minerals are very important for our life. So, what are the needs? Why it is so very important for us to conserve the mineral? Now, first of all, the mineral resources is very much essential for our country's development. Just now I said, it's very much important for our country's development. If we stop the extraction of the mineral, then the development of the country will be stagnant. So, obviously, the development will lower down. Secondly, the minerals are indispensable part of our lives. Now, why it is being said so? Now, have you ever thought of it? The day begins with toothpaste and a toothbrush. Now, the paste is having a mineral, even the brush that is being made, it is having a mineral. And the day ends with switching off the lights. So, when we switch off the lights, those are the things that is also made of mineral. So, if we stop extracting out the minerals, then what will be the resultant? Our existence will be at stake. Now, next, they require a lot of time to be formed, and the current rate of consumption. Now, the current rate of consumption soon will be exhausted. Therefore, they are infinite and non-renewable. They will soon be exhausted. Therefore, they are finite and non-renewable. Now, what is it? Minerals are exhaustible in nature. When we are extracting out the minerals, their that is replenishment is not fast with the rate of consumption. So, if we are not reducing our rate of consumption, then we will get the minerals get exhausted, so it will not be there for the future generation. Next, it is, we are having three main sectors that basically makes the economy. So, all the three sectors depends upon mineral, whether it is primary sector, whether it is secondary sector, or whether it is tertiary sector. Now, you will say primary sector, what is the use of mineral? The agriculture needs all the implements that is made up of metallic minerals. So, if the agriculture is not getting the metallic mineral, then how the implements will be made? So, obviously, primary sector also depends. Secondary sector we all know, and the tertiary sector, that is the transportational network, they need the help of the mineral. So, it is very important. Next, if it is overused, then it will be exhausted and will not be available for the future generation. I just now mentioned that if we are not judicious in its utilization, then it will get exhausted and the development or the growth will reduce. So, these are the reasons that why we should conserve the mineral. Now, next comes then how we should proceed with the ways of conservation. Now, when we are doing the work of extraction, our technology should be improved. Why? Because when we are extracting out the mineral, if our technology is not improved, then we will just extract out the superior quality of the mineral and the inferior quality will be just lagged behind. So, it will be kept. So, if our technology is quite a superior one, then the inferior quality of the mineral can be extracted at a low cost. So, it will not create a burden always on the superior quality, even the inferior quality can be utilized. Second, strict regulations by regulatory bodies to ensure that resources are mined responsibly. That means there should be optimum utilization and even the judicious extraction should be there. Third, recycling of the minerals. Now, you have heard about the scrap metals. Now, when the scrap metals are there, that means that those metals cannot be used in that order. So, if we are putting up into the blast furnace once again, then we can get the fresh metal due to that, that is the molten metal, and then we can give a shape to a mineral that we needed. So, recycling of the mineral, just giving a best example, normally the designs of the jewelries become old fashioned. So, what is it? We used to give the gold jewelries to the goldsmith, again they remodel it by recycling method. So, in this way all the metallic minerals can be recycled and then it will not create a burden on the existing minerals. Next, using alternative sources. Now, what is it? Iron rods can be supplemented where it is possible with the PVC rods. So, PVC pipes or PVC rods can be used where it can be possible to remove the iron rod. So, in this way the alternative sources can reduce the that is the burden on the exhaustible minerals. And lastly, minerals should be used in a planned and a sustainable manner, which is one of the most important way of conservation, that is sustainability. So, these are the measures of that is mineral conservation. Please note down all the points of all these topics in your copy the way it is given to you. I am not proceeding with any of the questions in a form of a worksheet. Let me complete the chapter, then I will give you the board questions. So, when you are proceeding with the board questions, you will get each and every topic being touched with the some or the other pattern of the question. And if you are having any doubts, just mention it in the comment section without any sort of hesitation. Thank you for following the class. Have a nice day.